yeah, the last time that we were speaking on the phone, it was more about what was happening in my life, or what is related with my life, and I think it's really, it can be helpful for other people, I think. So each experience of each human being is just an experience that can be shared, and I think people can learn about it. So yeah, that's why that's why I decided to do this Zoom call with you, actually.
Yeah, great. I'm happy to be here. And last time we spoke, like you said, it was great conversation about the cycles and what we're going through in life. So I propose we just jump into that.
Yes.
And I'm happy that people are going to watch it and they can have this kind of raw conversation between us and just get value from that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that will at least if one person can just take something of this conversation, it's nice. Just even if it's just like one sentence that can help, so it's good. It's always it's always something. If it can be helpful, it's always great.
So maybe it comes to mind, maybe we can kind of introduce ourselves and where we are.
Yes.
And something like that for people that don't know one of us or both of us.
Yes. So I'm going to start right now. I'm David. I recently turned 40 years old. I was born in France, lived in France, then lived a bit in France, then went to Portugal, did my school in Portugal, lived again in France, and yeah, I've doing the classical kind of path, working, studying, school, then working, and all this, this modern culture kind of lifestyle, so going to work and not having time for myself. Actually, I was just working, and then I was sometimes dumbing myself during the weekends and drinking a lot or eating a lot of sugar or even being addicted to cigarettes too. So I was really doing this kind of lifestyle. Yeah. And then I met some other people who helped me to go out. But then we're going to go deeper in the subject.
Yeah. So I hear that until you had this change, you're kind of living the normal modern culture life.
Yeah.
And then there's something happened, and we're gonna go into that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go. My name is Dor. In Hebrew, it means generation. I currently in a land called Israel, in Tel Aviv, and I'm actually a nomad. So I'm going around the world, and I'm part of this little community. We call it the Next Culture Community, or a nano nation. That's called Nomadica. And we're going around the world meeting other nomads that are taking a stand for something in the world, that are creating transformations or doing spaces or workshop or doing any kind of work for connecting something new that, like you said, people that are living the modern culture lifestyle can shift into that. So I also am working with this game world called Possibility Management, and I am holding spaces for rage clubs, for possibility coaching, for unhookable trainings, and I'm part of this team of coaches called Coach in Circle, and I have a lot of joy for opening doors for people and creating these adventure maps, producing adventures for people that they have some challenges in their life or something like that, and we we build together an adventure that they can go through and shift to something else in their life and learn possibilities, distinctions, maps. So that's how I roll, so to speak.
Yes. And thank you for sharing all this, your all this experience, so part of your experience of life. So that's nice. Yeah. And yeah, I think the last time we talked about these cycles, I think yeah, for example, in my life, like I was saying before, I was like in this modern culture kind of lifestyle, and yeah, I was going the way that I was like told by my family or by school or by society, you know. And I was like feeling like at some point I started to just to feel like really depressed, you know, like really I went like in a, was not a burnout, but I went like a really dark place. I was like getting really bored of my life, and yeah, then I started to do different things. So I started at that time I was not, then I started to like, one of the first steps for me was going to sports, you know, physically. The physical helped me to go out of this just modern culture thing. And then when I started to do sports, I was like, I started to do sports, and it was you cut your
I'm muted. What kind of sport did you do?
Actually, the beginning was like just gym, you know, going to the gym, you know, because I was not doing any sports in the beginning. So when I was like modern culture, I was just like I was just working, you know, working, and then on the weekends I was going outside and getting drunk, and you know, all this, just this, you know. And at that time I did have like doing nothing else, you know. I was just, yeah, and now I was going to my place, just seeing some, when I was going home I was like watching movies or watching series or all this stuff, but doing nothing else, you know. And at some point, yeah, I decided, okay, I need to start taking more of myself. And then I went to go to the gym, and went a bit bigger, you know. I started more slowly, then I went to start to like it, then it was start to get bigger, and then it started to like, I started to question myself, fuck, I'm just working, I don't have time to, I don't take time for do nothing else, you know. And then I decided, okay, I'm going more deeper in the sport. So I started to go deeper in sports. So I started to meet people, different people, you know, even on Facebook, because then I started to use Facebook as like a, you know, I mean, to connect with people who were like more in sports. So in sports, I started to meet other people that were like doing sports too. And in this kind of world, I meet people who were in like personal development, who were like following like guys like Tony Robbins and all this kind of guys. I know that you know these guys too. And
yeah, of course.
And at that time, I started to like get interested on it, you know. And I was like, okay, there's other things outside what I've been told, you know, by society. There's other things that I don't know, you know. So okay, I started to like go deeper, and I started to see different things that happen, you know, different groups, different people, and I say, okay, that's interesting. So let's give it a try. And yeah, then I started to read some books, because at that time, even at that time, you know, before my 30s, I think, now I'm 40, but before my 30s, I was like, I didn't like to read. I had like this aversion to like really to books and to something written. You know, I was not able to read the book. I was like, I don't like to read. If I was speaking with people, I don't like to read, you know. People ask me or something like that. And yeah, I started to read then, and started to read books about, I think the first book that I've read, it was like called Self-Esteem or something like that. It was a French book called Self-Esteem. And yeah, after that I started to like go deeper, more books, more. And yeah, and with these books I started to open my mind to other things. And yeah, then in 2017 I decided to quit my job, because I wanted to see other things, and I was like, yeah, I needed to change. And then I went to travel. I went to Australia for 3 months, and after that time, I've tried different jobs. I work online. I've started to learn about different possibilities about even cryptocurrency, about business online, about coaching, about all this stuff, And in 2000, yes, it was in 2021, I met you with possibility management, and yeah, I've done some workshops with you and with Clinton and Chloe. And last year last year I've done two experiences. I've decided to go deeper. I've decided to try ayahuasca. So last year I tried ayahuasca, and it was something. Yeah, it changed. It was like after the first time that I've tried, it was like I went outside there for was like a bit euphoric, but then in the days after, I was like, whoa, really go down, So, and then I spoke with people who were doing that, and they told me that yeah, it's what they call the integration part, and yeah, and this integration part, it makes me think about about the cycles that I was talking about earlier, because I at times in my life, it made me think about cycles, this integration part, because what happened is cycles. Because what happened is like after I went up, I was like, you're really euphoric, kind of, really feeling really happy and stuff. And then, and I think in my life, I had this ups and downs, and that's why I think I really think there are cycles, there's more cycles where because I had like parts of my life where I was, even if I was like in the beginning in modern culture, I had a time in my life in modern culture where I was feeling good, better now. Then I went down. Then the fact of being down in this cycle helped me to think about if it was really what I wanted, It helped me to go like deeper, like in, how can I say, in my emotions and and to see that, to explore myself, to go like inside of my own being and seeing, okay, in my own, and going outside a bit of my ego and say, okay, I'm feeling all these things, so maybe I should change things, change things in my life, change the way I'm living, change the way that I think, and change other things, even change what people would I was going out with, or being with, So everything, I think that after this like down cycle, I started to go like a bit, because it started to change, and then started to go up, but differently. You know what I mean? It's not actually. I think it's like this down part of the cycles. It's necessary to recreate something. To create something new. Because I think it's it's like I think it's like for example, like a kid who starts walking, he starts walking, he's like happy because he is able to start walking, then he falls down. Then he started to say, I'm crying, and he says, I don't really like it, and it feels like hurt. So for example, for a while he might think, okay, I'm not able to do that, and then he needs to like some kind of time of, I don't know, okay, it's not probably not a lot of time, but some minutes, some time to be like, okay, I'm now I felt this pain now, and probably try again, but a little bit different, or I don't know, more careful, or more something, So I think it's the same, like for my experience. That's what I think about what I've lived and what I've experienced about, So I think it's like, yeah, I think cycles, it's just, even in our planet we have cycles, So during all the year we have 4 cycles, we have the 4 seasons, so it's different. And it's all, you see winter like the trees, and in fall the trees lose their leaves, and then they restart again in spring. So I think it's part of the evolution, human evolution, and it's part of the human experience. I think it's necessary. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's great. I told you this in when we talked about it last time, that I didn't hear anyone talking about like this. So I hear that you describe the journey where you had like a crack in the beginning. There was like a little crack, like gym, I need to get more fit. And then you start to, through that, see that you can do something different. You can shift your life in a different way. And then that opened to more things, meeting new people, and then discovering these self-help things, Tony Robbins and all these people. And then that brought you to new experiences and working with a coach, and then discovering possibility management, and even like going on a journey, like taking ayahuasca and stuff like that. So, and what I heard, that as you did this, there was also cycles. It was not like just like people like to describe it like it's a way up. It's just a way up, but it's not like that.
It's not like that. Of course, it's not like that. You have like, it would be too easy. I think you have like this ups and euphoric ups, and then it goes down. And the point is that's really painful because, I create expectations because I say I'm euphoric, so I create these expectations, and then it goes down. And because I have these expectations, it's like when it goes down, it's really painful because it can be like, okay, I know this, I knew that I can do this or be like this, and now I'm here really down, and I say, yeah, fuck, I don't want to be like this again or stuff, because I have this feeling of being, I was like here, I went up to here, then I fall down. But the point is that because of all the expectations, I will not fall down here. I will fall down probably here, it's a bit tough, but I will like create this tough story because I say, I don't want to be like here again, But in my experience was that what happened is that I was like not really down again, a little bit up, and then I can work again to go a bit up again, and that the cycles will be again. I will like fall down again, but the point is that fall down a bit upper, you know what I mean? And it's not like this. Life is not like this.
Yeah, what's coming up for me, that even when I started to do something new and go up, and then I fell down, even though the down was less down than where I was in the dark times, this felt very huge because I had these expectations. I'm on my way up. And then because there was this huge expectation, when I felt here, it felt like hell.
Yeah.
It felt like, in my mind, I thought that it's even worse than before.
Yes.
But it's actually like also what I hear you say, it's like, it's not.
It's
because
not.
I already changed some things.
Yeah.
Like some things in my physical body, my emotional body, and energetically, intellectually, something's already shifted.
Yeah, completely. But it feels, like you said, it feels really painful because you have these expectations of not being here anymore. And because we were up, I was up, and I think, when I fell off, I think that was like even more down here, but it's not the case if I start to see what I've done. It's just the point is that when I'm like in this story of saying, fuck, it's not working the way I want, I put like everything like in black and like everything negative, and I'll say, fuck, it's even worse, but it's not the case. I'm different. I'm living a different life now, So I'm not in the modern culture lifestyle again, I'm traveling now. I'm in Greece, I was like in Portugal a month ago. Now I'm in Greece. I'm doing like work away in meeting different people, different experience. Because I think life is just all about this. It's just about experiences, it's just, and I think it's the only thing, the day that I will die, the only thing that I will bring with me, it's just the experience that I lived, nothing else, nothing else, nothing material things, no birth people. Even if I'm in a couple with someone, even if I have a kid, the kid will stay here. So everything everything will stay here in this planet, in this physical realm of the planet. So yeah, I think the most important thing is just these experiences, to live the experience. So, but yeah, I know there's this kind of part of me that's in my, yeah, it's always this part of me that's still a bit like in my box, about modern culture, that starts to say, ah, okay, yeah, you fall down, yeah, you see, now you're stupid, you done this, all this shit things, blah, blah, blah. But it's then I start, if I just stop all this story and I start to see how do I feel now with my own self. I feel much better, much more at ease, even if I don't have the supposedly security that they say about having a job and all this stuff. I was like feeling much worse when I was having this security kind of lifestyle. They say having a job, they say, it's like, yeah, the state, the society, the school, I feel like, yeah, I think I feel much more free, really free, feeling like, yeah, feeling more connected with my own self, feel more like, if I've even started to do different things, like starting drawing again on things that I just didn't do, like since I was a kid. I even start like playing guitar again, learning to play guitar. I didn't know how to play guitar, so I'm learning to play guitar, And the last time, on the last work away that it was in the farm, and there was like they've done like a retreat, and I've tried for the first time djembe, the drums. Oh, it's something amazing, It's really, I want to do that because I realized that I like it. It's really, I was doing that and I was like in a kind of state, like really, it was like really something amazing. And I was like always playing, And yeah, so the point of doing all this experience that I've done in the last couple of years, it worked. It helped me to go out of all this story that I've created when I was like living the modern cultural lifestyle, And I'm feeling more, just in one word, I'm feeling more alive, that's it, more alive. Yeah, but even if I feel more alive, it's not being perfect every day. I will be ups and downs even the day emotionally, I will be having days where I feel like more sad, like you say, or more angry, or more something. But yeah, man, it's just life. It's every day like this, Life is just a different experience every day.
Yeah, what's coming up for me, I feel consciously angry a little bit right now when I think about, for example, also my own journey, having in university, having depression, and because of the depression of so many things, I wasn't in the place I wanted to be, and I was, drinking a lot, alcohol, parties, drugs every day. So what I saw in the beginning in the marketing of self-help and all of that, I think it's much more, when I started self-development 7 years ago, there was not a lot of it. It was hard to find. Now it's like everywhere, self-development, everything is self-development. There's million teachers for yoga and different kinds. But I think the way it goes even now, it's even more. The marketing of it's like they like promise you something that it's like, this is the road.
Yeah.
You just go to this course and you learn like this. Yeah. And what I love about this conversation, that what we're telling you right now is that it's not like this.
It's not like
you
this.
Keep going down. And we, for example, I know that in the work of possibility management that we both did, but also in from our relationship, we always talk about we meet and we talk about the hard things, where we're down, what are we struggling with, what is the shadows of where we at. It's like even like sharing very in a vulnerable way, like what am I doing that is not working, and And I feel that the expectation in the mainstream of this self-help is to always be up. So I even see conversation between people, even people that are coaches or even people that are, doing this work for a long time, therapists, I hear the conversation, it's only about the up.
Yeah.
It's like, we're like improving, I'm in the light, like blissfulness, everything is calm, everything, I believe in myself, just love yourself.
Yeah.
And they create this expectation of just love yourself, just keep loving yourself, and everything is going to go up. But they fail to remind you, even between those moments, between this great session, between this great workshop you did, festival, there is a lot of down. Even like you said, every day, each day.
Yeah, that's the point. I really relate with what you're saying, because I've done the Tony Robbins and experience, and I didn't even went with like UPW, I've been to a seminar of Tony Robbins. And yeah, I really don't think that's, I think that in my perspective, I think people just want to positive things, just positive thinking and positive. I think it's great, but it's the negative, what they label negative. It's necessary because it's part of a cycle, even in the planet, it's not like there's no negative things. Everything is necessary, it's, it's like, I can see now, for example, the last time I was like seeing a picture online that a zebra was having a small zebra, and then a lion caught the small zebra. You can say, oh, poor zebra. Yeah, but the lion needs to eat, so it's not negative. It's unfortunately the zebra died, yes, but the lion survived. So, and I like to compare with nature, because nature, it's like if you look at nature, you can see different things that related to human experience, and it's not that I'm being negative or something like that. It's just, I think that it's important to have like, positive, because if you are like negative all the time, it's not working either, but it needs to be find the balance between both, say, okay, I can work on being more positive. I can do like more positive thinking for a while, but then I need to realize things that will probably not go like this, like you're saying. It's not like a, right, a straight ladder like this. No, it will be like this, and so, yeah, I think it's, if being aware of this is just helpful, I think, because and of course, you need to put goals. You want to attain a purpose, something, you need to put a goal to go there. That's for sure. But sometimes what you've realized in my experience is that I put a goal here. For example, I don't know, I want to travel or travel to, I don't know, 100 countries. But probably I realized that I started doing this. How can I say this? This goal that want to go to 100 countries. Then at some point I've traveled, for example, 20 or 30 countries, and I realized I don't want to go to 100 countries. I could probably just go to 30 or 40, or even I'm okay with that, what I've done today, So that's the point. It's because I think, like when you're talking about like the self-help things, you say, you need to put the goal, I goal. Okay, your I goal, that's okay. But then you need to be aware that during the road, the things can change. And the thing is not to create too much expectations, because if you create too much expectations, if the things, I think you can even like attain the goal, on the long term. But I think that we are in a society where everything is just short-term thinking, So you put the goal people think put the goal like to go, I don't know, I want to go in 100 countries in the next 2 years, or I don't know, it's an example. And if it doesn't work in the next 2 years, they create all these expectations, and then it falls down, and it's like, wow, it's creates more deception. You know what I mean? Because there was like this huge expectation, and just, I think if the goal is like measured and like, and if if it's like adaptive, like, how can I say, not adaptive, being like flexible, put the goal, but being flexible to change it or to adapt things to this goal and to realize that it's like this, it's not straight ahead, because
Yeah,
if you're about this, yeah, it's go like this. Yeah, I don't think so. It's not like this. I think in my experience, it was not like this, and I'm just talking about my experience. It's my experience, my opinion. I'm not saying that. Just I think as a
yeah,
human being, my experience is like this. So yeah.
yeah. What's coming up for me? It's not only like, let's say you have a goal here.
Mm.
It's not only that you go up and down on the way to the goal. It's also sometimes you go backwards.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a cycle,
Mm.
and sometimes it like I'm going to change the way I speak. It's just I want to tell this to people that are watching this.
Mm.
As you go on these different paths, self-development, whatever, yoga, whatever, possibility management, sometimes it's going to be like you're going backwards. And this backwards, it's like if you're aware that this is part of the journey, and it's not just thinking about it, it's really you're going backwards, like your shadow world is coming up.
Yeah.
And you started going back to all the habits that are that are not useful for you, that you thought you had, you don't have them anymore.
Mm.
But this backward is like a spiral that's going to give you more things that you need to work on. Here there's more work with the shadow world to keep circling up like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're watching it, just be aware, it's not only like your mood is going to go down, like you're really going to go back to old things, go back like this.
Mm.
And that, yeah, that's the expectation you mentioned.
Yeah.
So I want to shift people's head to not expect this, but to expect going back. And when you're here, what do you do? I don't know, David, what do you do when you're back here? What do you tell yourself? Like, what people sometimes I'll talk about myself. My conversation was, when I went back, it was, don't try this again. Never try to do something different again. Go back to the normal. Go back to what everyone else is doing.
Mm.
It's never going to work for you. And all these sentences come from different ego states. I know that you know what I'm talking about, but I don't know if people know what I'm talking about. So if you have more question about the different ego states that these voices come from, you can ask us later. But just, I had this conversation that, like, I'm never going to try again. So I see a lot of people, when they go back, they stay stuck here.
Yeah.
And they just quit developing. They just go back to the modern culture. And
Yeah.
you hear them, yeah, I tried doing these self-development things, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's because they tried and they went back, but they had expectation to always go up. They didn't have expectation of cycles.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like what you said is really important, because I had the same thoughts, and even now recently I like some experiences, like I've injured myself, so I used to do sports, so I injured myself. So this was the beginning of like a down cycle. Then, like a couple of days later, my father passed away. I've quit my job because I was like working in nutrition coaching at the time, and I was not feeling like I was not at that time I was not feeling like confident enough with myself to help other people. So I decided to stop this job, because my job was to motivate other people, but I was not motivating myself. So how can I motivate others if I'm not motivating myself, And then I decided to stop. And so then I went to downside, like you're saying, about all this shadow world. I started to drink a bit again. I started to like eat more sugar things, and I was like, and then the point is that when I went in this down shadow world, is I was like eating or drinking, then I was starting to judging myself, and then I was like all this, and then I was thinking,
Yeah, that's big.
the same things that you were saying, like, yeah, that's bullshit, all these self-help things, and that's bullshit, all these things that I've done. I could probably just return to my old job and all this stuff, so okay, and my old lifestyle and stuff like that. And then there's the other part of me, of my own being, that says, no, but it's not that bad, and then I can then to stop, and I had all these glimpses of, all these parts of ego who says, yeah, you've done bad, you need to go to your old kind of job again and to old lifestyle. And then there was this part saying, no, but look at that, you've done this, so it's like an inner fight, so like you see in the movies, the angel and the devil, it was like this, devil and angel is speaking, and yeah, but so yeah, I was struggling in all this shadow stuff, but the point is that it helped me to be more authentic, to be like more aware of that, and be more authentic and be more empathetic with other people, because if I have these shadow things inside of me, if I don't see this shadow, that's all these things that are inside of me. If I see someone doing something outside, I can judge these people. And my experience is that being like working on this shadow and realize that I had like all these things that I think that I thought that I didn't have anymore, going all these old kind of patterns. I think it made me more empathetic against comparing empathetic with other people, because even now, for example, I can be aware that if I see a person doing like behaving a certain way, in the real world, or like when I need to say behaving, it's like just like even speaking like with other people, being like, sometimes I see people that, I don't know, the behavior sounds a bit like there's something inside of, and I think that it's because there's like all this underground shadow world that's inside of each human being, so, and I think most of people aren't aware of this, and they don't want to see that, to see this underworld, but I think it's necessary to see this underworld, to know that it's there, because it will always be there, and it will always be with us. It's part of each human being, this underworld. So if you are like aware of all this shadow, you can be like more, yeah, you can be more vulnerable, more empathetic, like understand more how the behaviors of people, and not just not going inside like in a fight or something like that with someone just because the person speaks in a certain way or it's like aggressive or something, that you can like understand why the person is being like that, and you can be more like, yeah, more, how can I say, more having better relationships with others, because it's and what I was saying, it really happens not just with strangers, even with family, members of family, or even with friends. It happens. I think it's probably not only that, but in my perception is a part of it, this shadow things, but we are so complex beings, that so many parts of us, and all this. So but I think the shadow work is important, and it's important thing to know and to be aware of, and not become too, how can I say, try to understand your shadow world, to not become slave of the shadow world. You know what I mean? Because in my perception is that if I was not aware of this shadow world, and if I was not able to speak about it too, I can become a slave of it, can become like, I can like always doing like things that are not really my being, it's my the shadow world taking care of me, taking possession of me, and make me doing things, and it can be like, if it's not conscious, it can become like if it's unconscious, for example, it can become like really dangerous, really dangerous for relationships, or for even for the world in general, so even for communities in general. So it's like, I think it's,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, what comes up for me is that's the treasure actually about these cycles. When you go down, when you go back, that's the treasure. You can tell yourself, I'm learning right now about my shadow world.
Mm.
It doesn't feel great. I'm not in a good place. I'm going back to my old habits. But when I go into this shadow world like this with this awareness, later I can take this and I know how to work with people because I see their shadow side. So I can work with people. I can be a great coach. I can just relate to people. Just when you see, like you said, exactly, and that's the treasure. So that's, I think, the one gold someone can take from this conversation is when you go down to the situation, just understand that there is value in being there, and there is still growth in being in the shadow world, in being back. And I mean, when I work with coaches, I don't want to work with people that are not aware of the shadow world, or they deny that, or they only speak about the up.
Yeah.
So I love that we're talking about it, and I want to, like, do you have anything else that someone can take from this conversation or something like that, or any offers?
I think it's I think it's important to how can I say? I think it's if a person goes into this shadow world, sometimes it can be helpful to share with someone, even if it's a best friend. I don't know, depends, because sometimes with the best friend it's maybe difficult because sometimes people are not aware of all these things, you know. So maybe to share with someone or just speak about it, you know, it can be helpful, or to speak about it, or
wait,
for example,
David, I'm going to stop you for a second. I just want to say that what you're saying is great, because a lot of your friends are going to give you advice, or they start to judge you themselves, or they just don't want to hear it. So maybe your friends are not in a place that they can hold space for you for this. But actually, if you connect with me and David, we have a lot of groups that we're working on. We have teams. So it's not only like recommending one of us or someone in our team to hold space for you professionally for this shadow world, or give you distinctions about how to work with it. It's also, we are in teams that you can just join and have a space of a team to share with them. Is that?
Yeah, thank you, Dor, for this sharing. And it's really that, because what you're saying about friends, it's interesting, because sometimes right now in this shadow, I was in this shadow world. If I speak with some friends, they will say, I don't think about it, or just be positive, or this, you know, all these things. And it's not, because it's not like this. I don't think it's just, and what I'm saying is not, again, I'm not saying that the shadow world is bad. I'm saying that it's part of each human being. So it's necessary to like acknowledge it and accept it. It's like, because it can be like, if it's not accepted, it will be like always like there, and it's always creating mess and and when it starts to be accepted, it can comes, but it not comes in the same way. It like comes less strong, and because I'm conscious, I can do like different choices, you know. I can go, okay, having this this time of shadow, but I know that it's less than it was before, you know, and I'm more conscious and more aware. So it's always being the thing at process changing, you know, because of conscience. Just because of conscience changes a lot of things. How I relate with my shadow world, you know. And yeah, so yeah, like I was saying, I think speaking with someone who is like aware of this, like Dor or me, or like people, yeah, that we know. And for example, for me, when I like to connect with nature. I think nature is something that really helps me to go out when I'm starting to go too much in the shadow. I'm just going outside, even like just going to sit in the forest near the trees or something like that. And And for me, I've realized in my experience that, okay, but it's my case, but I sometimes need to be by myself, in this time. But when I'm by myself, I usually go to the forest or in the nature. Or for example, now here I'm going to the sea and I'm in the water by myself, and it helps me to be like more, to accept and to be more loving with myself, with my whole being, with all this, with all my different egos in my being and this shadow world, so I can accept better this and feel like, more feeling, even more empathetic with myself, not being like, see again, drink again, blah 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 blah, and eating myself again, I think it's.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I love that possibility. All right, so I propose we wrap this up, and
Yes.
I'm just gonna say my last thing, that is, if you have any questions about this video, we just shared a lot of things here, and if you have any questions about that, feel free to connect with us, so you can find us pretty easily. And and if you need maybe a short discovery call with one of us about how can we work together, so just write us a message and ask for a discovery call about this, and we can find out if we can work together, we can add value to each other or something like that. Thank you.
Thank you for this time, Dor. It was can I say, it was a good, an interesting exploration, even to talk about this. It's always interesting to talk about this. Something that I really enjoy talk about it.
Yeah, thank you, David. I enjoy talking about this too. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you.
Right.
So let's stay in touch.
Yeah, stay in touch.
Bye, Dor.